Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aloha Press Show. My name is JC out here in Atlanta, Georgia. Joined today with my co-host Jeff out in Amateur City. This is show 2 of the week, Thursday edition. Christmas Eve is here, and we are going to deliver. Jeff, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, it's Christmas Eve. It can't get any better. I'm going to be making some fucking calzones tonight with the family. Got the pizza oven fired up. It's going to be a great night.
That's incredible. You're making calzones? Like, that's some fancy shit, Jeff. That's some real Italian Christmas style. I think we're going Chinese food, maybe. I don't know what we're doing yet.
Well, hey, Chinese food on Christmas Eve. I'm having fucking paisanos.
It's the way. It's the American dream. I don't know when people are going to be watching this. I'm assuming this is going to be a show that people will watch for many, many years, because it is the 2020 highlight show presented by the Aloha Press.
Well, I'd like everybody to sit back, grab a cocktail, turn the Christmas tree lights on, maybe start a fire in the fireplace, and put this bitch up on your TV so the family can watch it tonight, because we're going to recap 2020.
Jeff, 2020 just in general was absolutely fucking crazy. It started out a little different. I was actually venturing out to Atlanta to kind of thinking about this dream of going all in on the Aloha Press, and kind of made that decision come January. And what led us to make a few probably poor financial decisions, great experience decisions. We kicked off 2020 with a fucking bang. We started off the year not only like going to probably the best place in the world, like the golfer's dream, but I think in the middle of January, you and I were talking, we're like, what would be the best experience in the world? And you said Pebble Beach. So we just fucking did it. Jeff, how cool was the beginning of the year?
But Pebble Beach, by far, I look around my garage, I still see all the memorabilia we got from there, the scorecards, the bag tags, everything. That trip was over and beyond anything I could have imagined it was going to be. Was it the best financial decision, like you said, right before the pandemic hit? Absolutely not. But fuck it, it's just money.
It absolutely is. And I think if anyone asks, like, down the road, like, how'd you guys start your 2020? I'd be like, we spent 4 days in Pebble Beach, played all the most memorable golf courses, and spent $800 a night sleeping in a room. Like who does that? We do. The Aloha Press does, which was absolutely key to kick off 2020. Jeff, I remember us sitting in the lobby with hundreds of people drinking cocktails, which, by the way, their cocktails are amazing. It's the same shit. It's just a better experience, in my opinion. And we were sitting there and we were listening to bagpipes being played for the first time in our careers, in our lives, where we weren't at a funeral. We were at one of the most magical places in the world, and it just brought me down to earth and made me realize that 2020 was going to be fucked up, and it was. But it was a great experience. Jeff, what was the favorite part of that Pebble Beach trip?
Well, speaking of the bagpipes, that was awesome because we're out there, kind of putting a nightcap on the day. The sun's going down, and this motherfucker's walking up the fairway playing these bagpipes. Everybody's crowded around looking at it. And all I can think about is, I just watched this motherfucker hole out about 6 hours earlier for eagle on this hole.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where JC made it to. Par 4, second hole. Zipped it back off that hill. Started his round 3 under through 2 holes. Thank you very much.
One of his chips in for birdie, holes out for eagle. That's how you started the golf trip. It was memorable. But by far the most memorable takeaway I have from that trip is waking up the second morning, knowing that we're going to Pebble Beach, getting there, first fucking tee time of the day. It's beautiful weather. get the putting green to ourselves. We've been there once just to watch the practice round of the U.S. Open. But you can't ever replace your first round at Pebble Beach. The caddies were amazing. The overall experience was just fucking special.
It was, if I was going to start any decade, like that's the way to fucking do it. And it was absolutely incredible. I agree with you. I think, day 2 at Pebble Beach was a dream come true. And I know with the pandemic and everything, a lot of people got to experience Pebble Beach, but they never got to experience it like we did. I mean, our pocketbooks, hurt a little more, but we got the full treatment. I mean, the full caddy experience out on the golf course, and just the accommodations were just. I understand why it's $800. Like it's expensive, but I mean, coolest trip in the world. And then like 2 weeks later, they shut the country down, and we're like, oh fuck, all right. But as soon as the country was shut down, Bryson DeChambeau started packing on the protein shakes and eating Twinkies and Ho-Hos to gain 40 pounds. And this is probably the section of the show we're going to get away from the Aloha Press a little bit, but Bryson DeChambeau wrapping it up. It was, he wrapped up steak and was just, pounding protein, and he gained 40 pounds and started pounding drivers like he was in some long drive contest. I mean, it seemed like a crazy decision, but he ended up winning the U.S. Open this year.
Well, he was the talk. He was the talk of the year, from the body transformation to the game that he played, because he not only won the U.S. Open, but he won another tournament. He had a bunch of top tens. He played very well on top of hitting the ball 360 yards in the air, whatever he was doing. And we gave him a lot of airtime. He didn't finish too well. The Masters kind of fucking slapped him in the face a little bit. But Bryson was a big talking point for this season of the PGA Tour.
He was. I mean, he won by 6 shots at Winged Foot in a very challenging U.S. Open. It didn't have the same atmosphere like we wanted without fans, but there were still a few people chirping from the backyards out at Winged Foot, which was cool. If I could redo 2020, would I pick Bryson DeChambeau? I don't know. I think his transformation is absolutely crazy. I mean, he's ending the year trying to hit 8 irons, 300 yards with some long drive caveman in his what looks like his living room. I don't know if you guys have seen some of those highlights this year, but it's remarkable and good for Bryson. I mean, he's doing things absolutely different. He's changing probably the history of golf, and it's starting here in 2020. But another guy who changed absolute golfing world and is probably my new lifestyle idol, Dustin Johnson, going out and winning the Masters like he did after winning the FedEx Cup after having COVID. I mean, if you had to define 2020 in any unique way, we might have had a great experience in 2020, but DJ walked away with probably the most cash in his 2 victories. Or in his multiple, he won a bunch of victories this year. But Dustin Johnson walking away with a green jacket, maybe an asterisk, but also the FedEx Cup.
You're right. If there's anybody in 2020 that you'd want to switch places with, it's that guy. He's winning, and he's winning at life, not just on the golf course. He was the talk. So Bryson was the talk of the first half of the season, and then DJ's the talk of the second half. I think DJ's going to carry it into 2021 because that's just him. That he is that guy. He didn't do anything different. He just came out, let his game talk for it. He's got to come back from the islands wherever he's visiting at some point. Play over in Hawaii here in January. But yeah, he fucking kicked ass. He was unbelievable. He made a shit ton of money, and he had a lot of fun afterwards.
He did. I mean, when you put on the green jacket, like you get a fucking hall pass. I think in my world. I mean, besides the Instagram models that were posting his trip via which we posted on our newsletter, it looked like just a great ending for DJ. I mean, if anyone that if I get to have the same outcome after having COVID, sign me the fuck up. Give me COVID and $20 million. I don't give a shit. Like, He absolutely capitalized on a year, and he put his mark on the game. I mean, he chalked up his second major victory, and he's going to be the defending champion come shortly, which is probably the best case scenario for him to have an April Masters here in 2021. But let's get into the major champions, the actual majors of the year, and let's start with California, Harding Park. The PGA Championship, I mean, it was the first major back from all this nonsense and COVID, and we didn't really expect majors to be. We thought that you couldn't have a major without fans, and Colin Morikawa, got it done the first major of the year, and I just want to know if to start your major championship, it had to start in California. What is your takeaway with Colin getting the victory?
Colin's a great golfer. He had a good year, obviously major champion now. Do I think that major is the one that probably still deserves an asterisk? Absolutely. That had zero feel of a major. That had nothing more than the feel of a normal tournament at a Muni, with no fans. It just didn't sit right with me. It still doesn't. Bryson played well and kicked fucking ass in the US Open. And then DJ, there was nobody, fans or no fans, that was going to beat DJ at the Masters. So, I take back any of the asterisk talk except for the PGA, because I don't think that Colin Morikawa would have won had that been a legit full field, full fans, full experience. I just don't think he would have been able to pull it off. But hey, doesn't fucking matter. He's a major champion.
He definitely is, and he did it in a way, just playing some great golf, hitting the ball, just in the middle of the club face, which he needed to do without any real banter. I mean, there was guys that were in the mix like Brooks, DJ, Bryson, Paul Casey were all in the mix come the PGA Championship. And the only glimpse of fans that we got here in California in 2020 was in the COVID world was, a small hole in the fence with the Oakland Raiders fans hanging outside of it. I agree with you. I don't think it had the major championship it just didn't have the atmosphere or the clout that PGA Championships generally have. I think if fans were involved, I don't think he would have two victories this year, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, moving on, US Open, fans in the backyard, November Masters. I mean, these were all things that were new to us, new to the golfing world. I mean, I think when it comes down to major champions, I think it was the best case scenario for the most part. I think fans would have impacted? Absolutely. But the way 2020 went, I think they did the best that they could. Let alone I tried to go to the Masters. I was also detained by the Masters police. So keep that in mind when you're recapping 2020. I went from enforcing law to apparently breaking the fucking law. So it's going to highlight for me, which was pretty unique.
Hey, but the people know that you're not scared of jail if they listen to our last YouTube show on Thursday. So that doesn't surprise me.
No, and people when they again, if you haven't seen that segment of us, you got to make par or go to jail, and it was I had a lot of comments that said, wow, you guys are very confident in your abilities to make a par, which I agree with. But the thing that shocked probably the most in my world was Phil Mickelson this year. I mean, he not only was hitting bombs, but he was hitting bombs on the championship and on the Champions Tour. Phil Mickelson also made a guest appearance in the CBS broadcast, and I thought it was unique and pretty cool. He also played in 2 matches. Jeff, your takeaway for the 2020 Phil?
So 2020 Phil for me is he's on that slippery slope because he stayed relevant because he won some of the Champions Tour events. He did a good job in the booth. He makes a hell of a commercial for Amstel Light. I mean, he stays relevant, but he's just on that downward spiral. And I don't know how much longer he's going to be in the spotlight on the PGA Tour.
I agree with you because he did not play to the standards. I mean, he might have a new journey. I mean, the match. I mean, how many of these matches are we going to have during 2021? I mean, looking back, match 2, match 3, and you got a couple Champions Tour events. I mean, you got an episode in the booth. I mean, He absolutely is soaking up the camera time in 2020. He did not soak up too many victories when it came to the Big Boy Tour, and that really showed. I mean, was it cool to see him win on the Champions Tour? In my opinion, no. I think it was a black eye. I don't think he should have ever done that. I don't care what his confidence felt like after the events. It just, in 2020, I'm going to think back and not think about his two Champions Tour victories, but more his episode in the booth at Harding Park. I thought that was the best thing Phil Mickelson could ever do for the game of golf.
Well, I feel like when you look back at 2020 in the year of golf on the PGA Tour, it was half major championships that we paid attention to, no fans, and then it was like half gimmick golf. All these fucking matches and these father-son events and these fucking two-on-two. Like, I hope next year, obviously, we can get away from that. But like we said, if we do another match, give me Phil and Charles, bring Tiger back, give us somebody else that's entertaining, and I'll watch that.
Because match number 2 was in a fucking hurricane with the most boring guy in the world, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. I'm not going to lie. I was not a big fan of Tom Brady before the match number 2. I'm a big fan of him now. I mean, guy can hole out, play shitty-ass golf, and still be pretty much entertaining for the most part. I mean, the guy who claimed to be a fucking 7 handicap and looked more like an 18 handicap, I thought was unique and cool, but I agree with you. I mean, match number 2, match number 3, you got to bring back Charles, but you need Tiger Woods and Phil to go out there and battle and really bring that clout. The Phil Mickelson show was not great for match number 3, and it really showed that how much better of a golfer he is than Steph and Peyton Manning put together.
Well, and hey, these are all about charity and stuff, but we mentioned this months ago. They need to get out there and play for their own money. They need to bet live. They need to battle. It needs to be a true fucking round of golf for those guys, like it would be for me and you on a Sunday. I want to see the realness.
I want to see the checkbook. Okay, I want to see the Tiger Woods checkbook come out. I want to see the Phil Mickelson, MasterCard come out and actually slide some cash out of that ATM machine. I mean, that's the only way you're going to really intrigue me to tune in 100%. And really get everyone's fucking, action going. I mean, hell, maybe Phil needs to bring along one of his kids and Tiger and Charlie could fucking team up and play some, dad-kid tournament where, if father-son loses, they got to sleep underneath a bridge in California or somewhere. I mean, make it interesting, make it unique. So, I mean, wrapping up the matches, I think the only way they continue this thing is like you said, playing for their own money. But the guy and gal who just not guy and gal, but the guy who, I want to say was probably the bigger disappointment when coming into 2020, Roy McIlroy. Jeff, is he just absolutely, looking back on his 2020 year, I'm sure he's going to highlight his child being born, but it was an absolute disappointment, right?
I really don't know what to make of Rory's year. He still had me as a believer. I picked him to win a bunch of times. I don't know if the guy has lost the desire to win at the highest level, if he's only going to concentrate on majors. I don't know. I don't really know. He was a disappointment, though. He kind of took a back seat to DJ in a big way this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. He, besides breaking clubs and having a kid, like, for me, that was like the biggest highlight of the year. And I think the excuse that he made out that he just wasn't comfortable not playing without fans made a big statement about his concentration coming down the stretch in an actual golf tournament and how serious he actually takes it. Because when you have $350 million in your bank account, I'm assuming, without fans, it's really just like a Sunday round with Tiger Woods.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be interested to see if he snaps out of it when we get back to normal and there's fans and kind of that atmosphere changes. But who knows?
Another player that really kind of highlighted the year, and if anything, if you were going to have a positive, I mean, I know the Aloha Press had a positive, but I think anyone that might emulate the Aloha Press might be Sophia Popov. I'm pretty sure I screwed her name up, but I mean, she went from caddying earlier this year to winning an Open Championship over in the UK. I mean, Jeff, someone who we would have never talked about, and this was a no story, to be quite honest with you, without her winning a major championship. But I mean, Sophia, I mean, fuck, we featured her on like a 20-minute segment on one of these podcasts. I mean, how cool was that story, you know, especially coming out of 2020?
That story was awesome. And I'm a fan of hers for life. And anytime your last name is a plastic jug bottle of vodka, I'm in. I mean, she brings me back to my college days when I had $6 to my name, you know, and you got to try to get the whole crew drunk on what you got. You know, she's going to do some big things, I think, next year. She's going to have more status, playing more tournaments. I look forward to watching her.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, anyone that is caddying in the first couple events of the year and then goes to fucking becoming a major champion, I think is going to have a lot of motivation to continue to kick some ass, because anyone that is carrying a bag, you got to look up and go, I can beat the shit out of these players. And then she proved it. But the thing that, you know, started the year off that, you know, kind of was a story that was a big deal, you know, back when we were watching golf out in LA. It was something that broke. The Premier Golf League 2020, you know, really became a more popular topic. It was a company that was started kind of backed by some questionable money. I mean, this company might also support terrorists out in Saudi Arabia, and also a Premier Golf League, 54-hole event, no-cut event with the best players in the world, divided up into 12 teams. Kind of bucked its head, and then as COVID hit, it kind of died, and it seemed like it went away. Jeff, I mean, it seemed like it was pretty exciting when it came out. It was a cool topic to talk about, but I mean, it was a highlight for 2020.
Well, we flip-flopped on that throughout the year. You know, do we like it? Do we not like it? I think if we're going to see these tournaments continue without fans and these fields be horribly weak like some of them were, the PGL might have to, you know, pop its head back up and maybe become a thing, because I can't watch 2-3 weeks in a row with nobody in the field that we know and these no-name winners. And if they stop getting that sponsorship money, what are they going to do? So it may become a topic again in 2021.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it was a unique perspective, and a great alternative to golf, especially when you present a product and you see the faults that the PGA Tour and the European Tour continue to make, and they didn't change. They never altered their way in 2020. And looking back, the PGL looks more promising, and it sounds like, you know, and a lot of players like Brooks, Rory, it sounds like Tiger probably aren't going to be into that type of format or into that mix. But I think money talks, and I think money will draw these guys out, especially if the PGA Tour and the European Tour their product continues to hurt and the viewership goes down, and they continue to hide events behind apps like the fucking Peacock Network and the PGA Tour Live and some of the other ESPN Plus, those kind of you know, applications where you can't just not fucking watch golf. So I think Premier League could have, I think they could buck their head again in 2021. I think it would be a unique thing, and I think it was a cool story that came out of 2020. With this, as unique and crazy as 2020 was, I mean, the thing that got probably the most attention besides Charlie Woods in 2020 and some of the others hot topics, but the hoodie debate, Jeff. I mean, fuck, I went to a golf course last week and played in a hoodie, and it was no big deal. And it seemed like the golf media was just eating this up because they had nothing else to talk about.
They don't, and that's the thing. It's funny they pick these little things to blow up instead of just promoting the brand and the players on the course and making us watch it or giving us the opportunity to watch it. Like, who gives a fuck? I'm all for hoodies. We've always been for hoodies. We've made nothing but hoodies. Go to alohapress.com, buy a hoodie, right? To wear it to your course. It's wintertime golf. You need a hoodie.
I agree. And the hoodie debate is ridiculous. Like, it's 2020. I mean, in this world, I'm unsure of, like, what pronoun to call people. Like, I should be able to wear a fucking hoodie at a golf course. Like, that's where we're at in this world. Like, If I want to go to the ladies' restroom, like I could probably do that. So let me wear my fucking hoodie on the golf course. Did I go the wrong direction in that one, Jeff?
No,
Okay,
you're
good.
absolutely right.
But I mean, on top of the hoodies, I mean, a guy who needed a hoodie this year was Brooks Koepka. I mean, Brooks Koepka this year absolutely was the biggest. I don't want to call it the tease. I mean, he was like going to a strip club and sitting at the $2 table for 4 hours. I mean, the guy looked so promising, but at the same time, he looked just horribly injured as he made his way through 2020.
Yeah, he had a rough year, but I'll tell you what, he had two victories that really stand out in my mind, and that was the victories where my players beat him when you picked him, and I got bottles of booze out of it. So I hope he keeps that up next year. I'll tell you what, anytime you pick Brooks, I'm going to bet against him because he just contributes to my alcohol fund.
He does. He absolutely adds to the Jeff Bellotti collection of booze when I picked Brooks Koepka. He was absolutely – he showed up during two majors, and he only played in two of them. I mean, with his knee injury and his bad hip and his lack of working out, it just seemed like 2020 was a direct reflection of our country when it comes to Brooks Koepka. But the thing that highlighted for me was he made a lot of Instagram posts, which was unique. I enjoyed some of that content. I don't really enjoy his girlfriend, but some of the friends that they keep around were, entertaining at very least.
He lives a pretty fun lifestyle, right? He's another guy. I'd still take DJs over his, but looks like he has a lot of fun. But yeah, his girlfriend, she just annoys me for some reason. I don't know what it is. I'm just not a fan.
I think that was the most regrettable ad on the Aloha Press Instagram account. I think she might be bumped via 2021, and unless she gains some hips, I don't think it's going to continue because I just can't stand the and she pumps advertisements like she just promotes brands and shitty products, and it was just weird. So Brooks, don't fight me. If you do, I'm just going to hit you in your left knee. I think your right knee, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. That was another thing about 2020. Which kind of ended was the whole talk about Brooks Koepka being a fucking NFL linebacker. I am absolutely over that fucking debate in 2019. And thank God that he looked more like the NFL kicker in 2020.
Yeah, well, and we also learned that, he can't play through injury very well. So his days as a football player, if anybody thought that actually could happen, it's not going to make it.
No, not at all. But the thing about 2020 is they passed all these laws this year about golf and gambling. And it was kind of featured in match number 2 with more odds and more things to bet on. And it just seemed like the PGA Tour was back behind some of these other app companies where you can gamble, not in Georgia. I created an entity in as the Aloha Press. And the biggest thing that everyone asked was, are you doing any online betting? Like I was some fucking bookie. And then I thought about it, I'm like, fuck, maybe we should. I feel like Vegas was built on everyone else's dollar. Like, why not build the Aloha Presses on some wagers? I mean, the first person we're kicking out of our casino is Eddie Maria because he picked 5 out of fucking 9 people to win during 2020. But Jeff, I mean, how cool is golf and gambling, and is it something that we need to invest in?
Well, I love gambling. You love gambling. We're all about it. I think the PGA Tour was grasping to try to boost viewership or get maybe a new set of viewers when they started doing the live gambling odds throughout a tournament. We didn't need that. To me, gambling like that on sports that's just an opportunity to run to Vegas, run to Reno, run to Tahoe, make a weekend of it, place your bets and watch the games, watch the round of golf, whatever it may be. But I'm all for it. I think that they could probably make it a positive, just deliver it in a better way.
I agree. I don't need the odds on the guy who's going to lose the golf tournament, coming down the stretch. Give me the odds on the guy who is currently leading and could fuck this thing up. That's the content I want. I want the complete blow up odds when it comes to the betting. And to touch on the Aloha Press betting side of it, I don't know how we set this up. I don't know if we need to mix in some relations with E3 maybe Mr. Edwards. I mean, how do we get this thing set up where we start becoming maybe a bookie? In Georgia, it's not, I might go to prison for that, but I feel like we maybe need to maybe dabble in that avenue, because it seems like Tahoe is a pretty cool place to make a few wagers.
Hey, the Aloha Press Sportsbook could happen at some point. Maybe talk to your boy Dave Portnoy over there at Barstool. I think he done something like that. So
Yeah,
it's a very real topic for 2021. That's for sure.
I agree. I mean, but the big topic of the entire year, at least for me, was going all in on the Aloha Press. And Jeff, to be quite honest with you, I have been scared to death through the last like 4 months. I mean, this has like been the scariest journey of my life. I went from complete consistency, I will say, when it comes to like someone paying me, to relying on the viewers and listeners and subscribers to support my lifestyle, which has been unique, which has been different. It's been a learning lesson for me out here in Atlanta.
Well, you definitely gave up the security that you had, right, to go all in. But that's the Aloha Press's motto, and that's kind of what you had to do. Here's the thing. We put in a lot of work. You put in a hell of a lot of work and effort, and it's paying off. And we hosted probably the best tournament of 2020, to include the PGA Tour, out there in Lake Tahoe, beautiful Edgewood Country Club, Edgewood Golf Course, whatever you want to call it, in the great state of Nevada.
And that was, I don't want to say me moving to Atlanta to be able to host a tournament on the West Coast was the only reason, but I've got to say, I mean, Jeff, we put our mark on 2020. I mean, we put a stamp on the Aloha Press and the Aloha Press Classic, and really made an avenue, a comfort level for the players and subscribers and listeners, and to be able to go up and get away from all this nonsense, all this bullshit that's going on in the world. I mean, it's nothing but negativity when you think about it and you turn on the news. And Jeff, I got to say, without you, buddy, I mean, the Aloha Press Classic would not have been able to been successful. And I am so grateful looking back on 2020 and realizing that we were able to bring 40 golfers to a place that, quite honestly, was not in the world of being able to host our type of crew, which we were proved wrong.
Well, and it's only going to grow. It's only going to get bigger and better. I mean, we've already got people booking spots, for next year's tournament. So I can only imagine how big it's going to get. I really hope with everything that COVID and that kind of stuff takes a back seat to let us kind of do the things that we really want to do, the things that we're known for, the things that make golf fun to us. We had to back off a lot because of all the restrictions this last year. But I can only say 2021's Aloha Press Classic up in Tahoe is going to be wild. Get in while you can. As soon as the pre-registration opens up, sign up, because the spots are going to fill up, and Edgewood can only handle so many of us. So
they absolutely can. And they warned us last year. They're like, hey, how many spots do you want? And I'm like, you know what? Like, it's 2020. It's rough. Like, I get it. Let's do 40. And I thought that was a high number, but I was fucking wrong. We had 10, 12 people on the waiting list. So if I have any advice for you for 2021 is, one, take advantage of the new PPPE money that's going to be dished out to you via the federal government. Okay, take that money. Okay, send it to the Aloha Press. Okay, it's $600. I'm already very aware of it. Okay, they approved it earlier today. Take that cash. Okay, put it aside for the Aloha Press Classic. If you need me to hold on to it, I've got a nice security door system set up. Get in while you can. Is there a pre-registry? Yes. Can you pre-registry? Absolutely. And if you need to do anything special for 2021, is put your mark on an experience. I mean, we only deliver the best. We only deliver experiences that no one else will come 2020. I mean, we filled up a Hard Rock hotel room that was in complete violation of every CDC guideline in the world. So we're willing to break some rules to have a good time, which is the most important thing.
And I think the takeaway from 2020 is, no matter what life throws at you, what the world throws at you, fucking go get it. set your goals, go get it. Fucking, you want to go to Pebble Beach and spend $18,000 to play golf? Fucking do it, right? You want to do a fucking golf tournament up at Edgewood? Do it. I hope everybody sees this and kind of, hey, hop on the Aloha Press. Go big or go home, baby.
That's the lifestyle. It's funny. We do all these giveaways and stuff, and I was going to the post office, and the lady's like, "Oh, what are you shipping?" I'm like, I run a golf, content business. We do some giveaways, sell some gear and stuff. She's like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, what do you sell?" And I go, "I sell dreams." She's like, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Fucking Aloha Press." Like, the ability to conquer what your dream is, and then being empowered and being able to conquer anything in this world. All you got to do is buy some Aloha Press gear. It's going to empower you. It's like fucking Superman. It's like a cape. All right. It's like fucking putting on Batman's fucking, weird belt and getting into his fancy car and fucking going along for the ride. And Jeff, without you, buddy, 2020 could not happen. Your support, your loyalty, the consistency with a podcast and YouTube show. This thing, I mean, when it started 2020, we had 4 subscribers on YouTube and we're at like 90. I mean, fuck. I mean, if we just if we go up 90 times come 2021, I mean, fuck, we're kind of like 90,000 subscribers here in 2021. So I'm looking forward to it, buddy. It's we're gonna kick 2021 right in the nuts and do things probably bigger and better than we ever have, just because there's no other way.
Well, and the last thing I got to say about 2020 is the Aloha Press Classic champion, Richter, Timmy Tipton. The man's got the fucking medallion. He's got the necklace. He sends some questionable photos with it every once in a while just to let you know that he still got it. He's coming back to defend his title in 2021. Be there to kick his ass. He puts on a show like nobody else. So if not, just come for the comedy.
Absolutely. So, Jeff, with that being said, really appreciate you sitting down, joining, talking some shit about 2020, recapping the year, and just enjoying the ride. So with that being said, guys, really appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week.
Rock on, baby.